Slytherin Granny says, hello.
Hi, Slytherin Granny. Good evening. How are you doing? Oh. How are we today? Slytherin Granny, we've had a lot of sunshine, a lot of heat, and we weren't ready for it. I wasn't ready for it. Whoa. Most of the equipment just failed. It's like, no, it's too hot. It's still pretty hot. Out here in a t-shirt thinking, I hope it's not too hot for the camera. So we're just going to explore this little village here. Aberfoyle, part of the Loch, Lomond and Trossachs National Park. Kind of one of the gateways, I suppose, in many senses. Very much a daytime visitor spot, and people, it's easily accessed for people throughout the central belt, so a lot of people have been here for the day, out on their bikes and stuff, out for a walk. And there's also people travelling around Scotland. You can tell car park's got a few nice looking vehicles in it. This isn't that great? So sparkly. How are you, Slytherin Granny? How's your day shaping up? So nice. Heard a trout. See the
Slytherin Granny says, I'm doing fine. Just played like hours of Fortnite on someone's birthday stream.
Oh, nice. It's always nice to celebrate with people. Sort of bond you a little bit, I think. When we have this virtual world that we communicate through.
Yes, it was a very nice stream.
At least when you mark occasions with each other like that, it kind of brings that kind of, I don't know, another element, an added element. So this is the River Forth, believe it or not. You could probably paddle across this in a few strokes. And it comes out, goes down to Stirling, and then starts getting bigger, and then comes out around in the Alloa area into the Forth estuary, becomes the Forth estuary, meets the North Sea, and basically becomes the sea. It's the sea I grew up with, really. I love all the insects on the water. Yeah. Can you see them? Dancing on the water. Dicing with death. Little do they know that there's a big trout looking to see which one is the fattest. Look at this. Awesome. All of this fallen deadwood. the tree that it was in was obviously quite spectacular by all the incredible lichen that's on it and stuff. This is called Old Man's Beard. Usnea is its Latin name. Oh, there's a little bird in amongst there as well. Is that a robin? I see it flittering around. What is it? A sparrow maybe? Hello, little bird. Anyway, so if you mix this with an alcohol, it will turn the alcohol, well, it'll make it more antiseptic, basically. And it's weird, it's very, very brittle right now. But if it got wet, it would become quite a wee bit spongy elastic. So, yeah, the more of that sort of thing, the better the air quality, apparently.
Slytherin Granny says, I see, does look brittle.
I wonder if this is the tree. It would make sense that it fell down across the path, broke the path where the new fence posts are. All seems to make sense. There's sheep here. There's a Scottish wool centre. Wow. Cool. I like seeing roots and stuff. Very nice. Again, scrubland over there, and if you've been on the channel much, you know how much I like scrub. I don't know why I like it so much. I just do. So let's have a look at these goats. Are they goats or are they sheep? I think maybe it's a mixture. That one over there looks like it's got horns, but maybe it's still a sheep. Them ones look like these ones look like sheep's. With the sheep variety. Wherever you go, there's motorcyclists. Well, at the back, it's got very they look very woolly. Good breed. This one over in the corner seems to be, I don't know. Maybe it's very hot. It looks like it's panting quite a lot. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe it's just a bit not feeling well. This is the heat. Oh, what's going on over here? Interesting noise they're making. Never knew they made that sort of noise. Squeaking and kind of teeth chattering. Properly looking at me. It's quite pretty. In there, a little play area for sheep.
TBDH20 says, rams and sheep, I need some for my grass.
Hey. How are you doing, TB? Is the D dreadfully? Is that what it is? To be dreadfully honest. Having one of those moments where I'm like, did I lock the van? But I remember putting the key in my leg, so I must have. Wow, do you see that? The swallows coming down and drinking from the river. That was cool. You hear that noise? That's the swallows. I could have sworn you were a person, Mr. Tree.
TBDH20 says, no, it's my initials plus water.
Oh. That makes even more sense. I like how they've made a nice area for the sheep to hang out, and like the rest of the wildlife's using it as well. The starlings are down there having a drink and stuff. Oh, off they go. Who's coming in now? Jackie. There's like a little waterfall or something over there, and the birds are like, yay. What's Jackie going to do? He's going to slide down it. Some more sheep here. Or maybe goats as well. I'm not entirely sure. When you see horns like that, goats tend to have like different shaped faces, don't they? As well, like kind of like rectangular eyes, the pupils. That one at the back with huge horns. It's got like 4 horns, 2 going up and 2 kind of going backwards. Oh. Hear that cough? Hear that in the dark? It sounds like a person. Some serious cojones on that one. Oof, that looked a bit painful. Right. Oof, wow.
TBDH20 says, is the weather hot there?
It is just literally it's bearable to get out of the shade, basically. And I'm kind of still in the shade. I drove up from southwest Scotland this morning to where I am now, Loch Lomond in the Trossachs. And it was very warm. And then when I arrived, it was just got hotter and hotter, and I just had to take refuge basically. And sat in the shade for a few hours. None of my devices were working. Everything was saying, nope, sorry, it's far too hot. It was possibly the hottest I ever have in my living memory. It felt like an onslaught of heat. Anyway, the sun started to go down about an hour ago, and that started to bring a little bit of relief. So I was like, right, time to get out for a bit of a stream. Just take in a little bit of this location. Telling deputy, sheep fears. Wow. Slithering Granny, where's your sword?
Craig Buzz says, good evening, dude.
Craig Buzz, good evening. Nice to see you. It is a very good evening. Absolutely stunning here.
How are we?
We are glad to be up and about and not just cowering from the heat, basically. And had some food, got some charging done, and we've got full signal here, or fairly decent signal anyway. So it was saying earlier.
Sounds good.
So yeah, it's kind of interesting feeling actually. The feeling, the afterglow of being blasted by sunshine. It's a nice feeling. It's not something I'm really very used to, but I kind of remember it from when I was younger and went to hot countries. I like to go to some hot countries again, actually. Maybe not when it's too hot though. I think it'd be great to take the Biosphere live streams to biospheres all over and get our community known, celebrated.
TBDH20 says, that stream is so calm. Pragerbuzz says, yeah, that'd be good.
Thank you. So, we've done the Welsh one. We did the Dovey Valley. That was cool. That was our nice one to be our first one. Now there's another one up in Wester Ross on the west coast. I got in touch with them to say let's meet up, and they were like, when we get some funding we could do something. And I'm like, we could do something anyway. I haven't got back in touch with them. If the weather's going to be like this, I think I should make the most of it. Don't you? Weather's been pretty dismal for quite a while, so to suddenly be getting hit like this, it's like, wow.
Pragerbuzz says, don't need funding to say hello.
Ah, of course. I love it when people come and say hello. I don't mind when people lurk, but I love it when people say hi.
TBDH20 says, what is that mountain range called?
I'm not entirely sure. This is... No, I'd be lying to you if I told you what I thought it was. I don't think it is what I think it is. Up there is Queen Elizabeth Forest Park, basically. And I don't know what the land
hello
form
everyone.
is. If you know what I mean, like the actual rock, because the rock underneath in the hill up there will have a name, and I don't know what they are. We're in a place called Aberfoyle.
I hope you're enjoying the view.
Oh, Southern Granny. Southern Granny, can you see a sword on your... Do you still have a sword? Because I can't see that. I can't see anything's. I don't think anybody has anything apart from a sword. I just can't see your sword. Swifts flying around. Do you remember when we were in Wales, we were at the Biosphere project down at the Dovey Valley, and they had something called the Screams and Streams project, and we went and we looked at their water. They were thinking like the health of the water and bugs and stuff in there has got a direct relationship to the health of these birds that are flying around. Not all of them that are flying around here are swifts, so that one up there is, if you can see it. The swifts look a lot more like boomerangs. They don't really have any white on them. Well, I think they might have paler patches, but in comparison to a sand martin or a house martin, they look much darker. wonder if there's beavers up this way. Because there's been so many beaver reintroduction programs. It would be amazing just to... I've been kind of wondering why we've not had a beaver encounter. Remarkably still, or it seems like that, considering it's a river, flowing river. It's like some of it's going one way and some of it's going the other way. I wonder if, I mean, it's a tidal river, but I can't imagine that the tide would affect it as far up as this. Maybe it does. How far up rivers does the tide affect? I think this must be way too far up, but
TBDH20 says, are there Wales cats in there?
I'm trying to decipher what that means. Are there whales? Like, whale, whale, whale? Or is it the Centre for Alternative Technology, CAT, in Wales that we went to together on stream? I don't know.
TBDH20 says, catfish.
Ah, catfish. I don't think we have catfish, unfortunately. I'd love to see a catfish. We've got eels. What you're probably looking at catching in there are what we call game fish, so your trout, your brown trout and salmon. And there's probably other species in there as well. There's probably pike in there, what we call coarse fishing species, coarse fish. So there's like your perch and maybe roach and that sort of thing. We don't really have that many carp or anything like that up here. Or what's this coming down here? Was that a kingfisher? It just disappeared off into the bush. It came down the river at a rate of knots. I thought it was going to be a dipper, to be honest, and then it veered off and it had kind of a brown underside, which is, you know, kingfishers have got the orange. It can't have been. We saw a kingfisher in Wales, though, that was good. It was an absolute, definite, beautiful splash of blue flying into the river and coming back out again. Anyway, I digress. Fish in the river. We have eels in most freshwater water, because they can travel across land as well. We also have little fish called minnows and sticklebacks, which are like little tiddlers that you put in a jar when you're a kid. Catch them with like a little net. The roast beef with herb. It's nice. Friendly for the bees. It's amazing how like there is just food everywhere if you think about it. There's a lot of these are edible plants if you'd only be willing to eat them. This whole area here is just full of brambles. You see the white flowers here, and actually some of the brambles are starting to grow. You can see how high the river gets by looking at the, you see all this dry stuff in the tree. In fact, around the town, when we walk through the town in a minute, you'll see that there's sandbags up against the doors and things like that. Some of the doors, so this river clearly floods the town. I remember actually being here once as a child, and the river flooded the car park, and we were all down playing in the river, basically in the car park. I don't know if that would be allowed these days. Kids playing in flood water. But hey, it's a different day.
TBDH20 says, I think you can't have a pit bulls in Scotland, is that correct?
I think there is a Dangerous Dogs Act or something like that.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, hey Andy and chat, way back. IRL is the way.
Tricky Nicky. Guess what, Tricky Nicky? Earlier on, I'll finish saying this thing about pit bulls. I think that, I don't know if it's not allowed or not. I think perhaps it is allowed, but you need to maybe have a license or something like that. Be a registered owner or something. Maybe? I don't know. I know that there was, actually that kind of breed and staffies, and they're very difficult to rehome, and there's a bit of a problem because people breed them and then they, don't look after them or whatever, and bring out a nature in them which isn't really it's not really the dog's nature. Do you know what I mean? It's more of anyway. So not all humans are wise enough to understand what a dog needs, particularly that kind of dog. People get dogs because they're like, "Ooh, I want a pet. That one looks cute," or "Oh, I feel like that one will suit my personality," or whatever. There's a bird down here. I think it's a cormorant, actually. It's diving for something. What? Is it coming up here a bit more? I'm going to scare it away. You can see it rippling down there. I'm going to try and go back and see if we see it. One of my friends is actually I've got two friends that work in dog rescuing. One works for quite a serious organisation, and another one is a dude who's just kind of set himself up as a dog rescue and rehomer. Oh, I think it's a goosander. Nice. Goosander, you normally see them in the winter time.
TBDH20 says, I want to ban all women in Walmart with chicklets.
There's three of them. I think that's Mum over there with chicks. How cool is that? Look at them looking under the water for fish. They're fish-eating ducks. Oh, look, and the babies are just chilling up there. They're not stressed. Excellent. They've trusted me. plumage, I'm used to seeing them in the winter plumage, which is much more like black and white. They're really nice. Let's see if I can get a bit ahead of it to another spot. Maybe they'll continue to allow me to be here.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, do you know name of breed?
These are Goosanders.
Slytherin Granny says, they're so cute.
Scanning for fish. Oh. It's like somebody went for one. Wouldn't want to be a fish with the 4 of them skulking up the river like that. My word. I love their little warning thing they do. Right. What were we talking about? Dogs. And I was going to say to Tricky, I don't know if I think I answered your question about the dogs. Tricky Nicky, I saw what you did. Thank you very much. I'm super chuffed. I went out and bought batteries for the bat detector, and it's fully loaded with bat detecting batteries. And if there's any bats out tonight, we might hear their echolocation now. How about that? So yeah, we're going to kind of be, Kamal and I are going to be working kind of below that, in the forest, below that area there.
TBDH20 says, ducks and geese are savage, they will chase you down, LOL.
Funny.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, we're going bat spotting, yay.
Yay. So yeah, bat detector is in the bag. We've got the river right there. I reckon the bats are going to be up and down that river. Holy moly, she said. Holy moly, Dad. There again. So there's a kind of a gap in the hedge down here. And I'm like, is that a deliberate gap so people can go in and further up the...
Tricky Nicky 65 says, there's going to be a lot of bugs out near river, loads of bad dinner.
I think so.
TBDH20 says, the architecture there is nice.
Look at this. In the hedge. Secret gap in the hedge. Through. Passing into the fairy realm. Hopefully the fairy realm has decent 4G. Nice tree. Oh, I see. This tree's leaking a little bit. It's got sap coming out of it. Can you see that? So most pine trees, conifer trees, leak sap at some stage, and it can be a cooling mechanism and all sorts of different things. It's potentially a good thing to gather, particularly if you want to light fires. So it's very, very flammable. Oh, look at this. It's like little extra tunnels. Cool. For when the water's really blasting. That's cool. Interesting. I reckon the signal's really poor in there. It's not going there.
TBDH20 says, those old bridges are beautiful.
They are, aren't they? If I can get a wee bit lower.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, are we in a floodplain?
We are. I'm not sure if there's any bank there. I'm like, I wonder if I could step there, but I'm like, I don't think I can. So, yeah, they're cracking all these old bridges, aren't they? I've got one in the village where I live. It's a very old bridge. It's got some historical significance in that certain people walked over it way back. So I think we're just going to walk up here and then wander through the town. I don't know if it's a town or whether it's a village. It's a village, I think. I don't know what makes what makes a castle. It's something to do with the amount of windows. What makes a village into a town? Does it need to have a town hall rather than a village hall? It's pretty. It's little boxes. Very floral smell, very pretty, very purpley pink, making the place beautiful. So yeah, this is a big floodplain. This whole thing's been built on the floodplain. As you can see, we've just come up from over there where the trees are. That's the river down there, and the bridge and stuff. So yeah, this is all floodplain. I remember being here when I was a kid and it was all flooded in there. We were playing in the floodwater. Which side of the street do I walk on? I think I'm going to walk on this side.
Slytherin Granny says, wow, never experienced flood like that.
Yes. It might be full. I need to tidy that up to like before tomorrow, and 100 more people come. I love this old, the old post office kind of thing. This is kind of just very indicative of ye olde post office with toys that are just about 100 years old or something, you know. Funny. Why are post offices like this? You know what, chat?
TBDH20 says, what is the famous food from Scotland? Slytherin Granny says,
haggis.
so picturesque.
Here we go, we can do a what do you call it? Danger mouse. Danger mouse.
Haggis, indeed.
Haggis. Some people would say deep fried food. Whether it be fish and chips or haggis and chips or something like that. Maybe that's just British. Certainly we have haggis here. Oh, that's a great smell coming from somewhere. Upstairs above the fourth inn, I think. Oh, fabulous. Whew. Smells like Amsterdam. The Scottish wild cat. Which one is yours? Which one do you gravitate towards the most? Got an itchy shoulder. Did you eye? Did you? Did you eye? Did you? Is that right? Aye, did you eye? Aye? Funny. It's quite cool, the Swim Scotland thing. Different places to go swimming. Oh, look. Hey, a wee jolly. Fun. Fun stuff.
TBDH20 says, what does jobby mean?
Jobby. Jobby is feces. You know when you go to the loo and
Tricky Nicky 65 says, apparently it's the hottest day of the year so far in Scotland.
I think it is. So when you go to the loo and then you go back later on and there's a little one there hanging around, that's a wee jobby. Particularly, people call you a jobby if you're being annoying like that. So this is where we are. Right up there. Just kind of walked up there and we're going along down there. Just going for a little wander. Oh, you wanted to find out about the mountain range. So it is called Craigmore.
Slytherin Granny says, what was the temperature like there today?
So hot that I couldn't take it.
TBDH20 says, do you drink beer?
No, I don't drink alcohol. It was so hot here today, Southern Granny. When I was driving, it was all right. I mean, it was bearable because I had the fans going and the windows open and stuff. when I stopped driving, oh my gosh, it was so hard to deal with the heat. So I basically just had to drink lots of liquid, took my boots off and my socks off, sat in the shade until it was possible to move around again. The hills around Aberfoyle once provided a rich resource for local people. Lime Craig, 305 metres to the northeast of the village, provided lime used to whitewash and disinfect dwellings, as well as improving soil for farming. Craigmore, 387 metres to the north, had both stone and slate quarries that were worked for several centuries. Stone was mainly used for road building, whilst the slate was for roof buildings both locally and in the rapidly expanding industrial town of central Scotland in the 19th century. The slate quarries employed up to 100 men, and there was a small community with its own school near Duke's Pass. Slate was carried down the hillside on small railway trucks and loaded into the trains at Aberfoyle station. Isn't that funny that that's what we were seeing in the Dovey Valley at Cat? That was slate as well. So look at these men, long past. An ancient and enchanting landscape. Aberfoyle is a very old name, derived from Celtic aber, meaning mouth, and Gaelic fuel, meaning peat banks of a stream. The North Sea used to run inland along today's Carse of Firth, so that joining of Dukery Water and the River Forth would have poured their peaty waters into a shallow inland sea. Farmed as an enchanted village, the maps of Strathard are dotted with fairy hills and knolls or knows, stories of superstitions, witches, the good people and secret underground kingdoms have long been part of the local folklore. See, that's what I thought. I thought it was like a kind of a gateway to a fairy realm. Look at them smoking on their pipes. Wonder if that's significant. The life of the Reverend Robert Kirk, a seventh son, is notable for his scholarly works, translating Bible Psalms into Scots Gaelic. Some of these, look at this. The monarchy of fairies was once was great, as good old wives and nurse do relate. Then was the golden age, from whence did spring a race of fairies dancing round a ring, who in the night did inform mankind. So the fairies are helping you in your sleep, basically. Listen to your dreams. Something like that. So yeah, Highland Boundary Fault. 2 big platelets going crashing into each other, creating the Highlands. And yeah, amazing. So we're based down here, down off the map. So it's fun to be up here. Oh yeah, I've got a drink in my bag. Fantastic. I'm like, I need to get a drink. I've got one. So it's time for us to go back to the river. So we'll have to go around the wool centre. Maybe we'll see some more sheep or goats or something. It's all very chill, is it not? It's a little woodland walk here. Part of me's like, let's go down it. Another bit of me's like going, it's going to kill your signal. But I want to brave it. See what happens. Do you drink beer? Never asked. Do people in the chat drink beer? What's your drink? Children must be supervised at all times. That's you guys.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, beer mug. Clinking beer mugs.
Clink, clink. What's your favourite beer? Are you a Weiss beer guy? Are you more of a stout person? Hello. It's been awfully hot, isn't it? Literally, this is how you can tell how the day has been. Look at these animals. They're literally almost like, you know, they're panting, trying to cool down. They've been blasted with the heat. Everything is.
Slithering Granny says, I occasionally drink beer, more like on a weekly, sometimes monthly basis.
Weekly. On a weekly, sometimes monthly basis. I like that. I like the way that it decreased. It's like, rather than being I drink it on a monthly, occasionally weekly basis, it was the other way around, which it sounds way more funny. And I'm sure you meant it like that. Oh, look at the clouds. It's weekly, but sometimes when I'm not feeling well, I drink it monthly. I like it. So yeah, Aberfoyle, guys. That's it. Apart from like the pub and the restaurant. So let's go and find ourselves a little spot by the river, I think.
Slithering Granny says, I mean it like that, like on special occasions.
On special occasions I don't drink. I like that. So that's us done the loop. Basically, this is where I started. I've got a funny feeling that this might be quite a good spot for bats as well. Even though that there's the power line there. I've got a funny feeling they might be able to deal with that and not get hit.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, I agree.
This whole wee area here is pretty, I think it's probably quite good for bats. Generally, I mean there's lots of insect activity in the air, I can see them flying around. And there's different types of cover, open space. That family's having a really good time in the car park. That's nice. I like that they're having a good time. It's like everywhere's a holiday. Ooh. Hi. Hi. I hear you. You don't like me being here. You gonna show yourself? Or are you just gonna do? Hmm? Do. This is an alarm call that you're hearing. Oh, there you are. You're very small. See it up there on the branch? Ducking around and stuff. Duck, duck, duck. Duck, duck, duck. Duck, duck, duck. Quite
Tricky
pretty.
Nicky 65 says, we can see.
It's a pretty little bird. Is it a wren? It is a wren. Hey, wren. I like going up things like this. Gorge walking is one of my fun things to do. Is it shallow enough to wade? I think it might be. What's up here? Anything interesting? Looking for tracks and signs of things going down here. If you've ever been with me in my Biosphere live streams down on the beach, we've done a bit of this and we've found stuff that's led us to be able to film otters and things, which was cool. It's a bit deeper up there. Could probably wade this bit, but then we're just stuck up there, so. This bit here was making this lovely noise. Trickly noise. It's great, isn't it? Hi, dog. See there. This is valerian. I like valerian leaves. I like quite pretty. Gorgeous plant. Right, let's get. Oh, there's some people down there in the water. Not just me playing in the river. Quick tick check. Alright, I think. Don't want you getting ticks. Chat, you don't want to get ticks, do you? Right. Still feels quite early. Well, this sort of stream is all supposed to be about chilling out, so just gonna have to find a wee spot to do that. I like to be on rocks rather than around grass and stuff, personally.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, yes, they don't usually appear until dusk.
Yeah. So I've got a little while yet, particularly with the heat. I don't know, maybe the heat, well, maybe they'll be desperate to get out and fly around and get some water and get some munchies. That car park where I am over there is probably ideal as well. Anyway, we shall see. Ooh, that's very reflecty, that sunlight. Look at that, reflecting on you. All those trippy rainbow colours. Wow. Whew. And bugs as well. What are we going to do? We need to find a wee seat somewhere. I could go back and sit in the van, but I don't really want to. I think that's actually our best option though, because otherwise people are going to be looking at it and going, oh, there's a guy live streaming. So we're just going to have to go and chill out there for a little while till these guys have finished with the river.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, have you seen bats drink?
Have I seen bats drink? Do they just go down and skim the water? Actually, a bit like swallows do. Or do they go to where there's like some sort of, do you know what I mean? Like a...
They do.
Oh, they do. I thought they might go up to something that was a bit moist and just sort of soak it. You know? Like a wet jumper sort of thing. Oh, there they are, still here. Wondering whether these people have come from a different direction now that they are there. Interesting smell. Look at that wood up there. Dog coming by me.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, I'm not sure if all species do, but in Central Africa a certain type does.
Yeah, well, I suppose they just drink however they find you know. I think you're right though. I think I might have seen something like that. So yeah, looks like we're actually leaving. So we can go and play down here. It's cool up there. I like these sort of nooks and crannies. That's where you see things that they just happily living alongside humans in the wee burns and things. When I was a kid, it used to be like that. Like then a lot of the waterfalls that kind of disappeared. as a result of predation, apparently. What are you? You're a bit of a wee black dot. You're no tick, hopefully. Right, let's go for a wee splash. Paddle, paddle.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, some accidentally end up in the drink and become part of the food chain.
There's a wee bird down there. I think that might be a dipper. I feel if I get much closer than this, it's going to fly out. That's so big. Tiny little preen. Very chilling out, little dipper. Go on.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, he's very patient.
It's up there now. It's on the stump sticking out of the water. They're very, very territorial. So they will stick around and guard their wee spot. You see the fish jumping out of the water here. When we were going there, I saw multiple fish jumping out of this water here. Not very big, but they definitely came out. Look at that, you can see those alder with their roots in the water. Look at that. Happy trees. Yeah, good little creatures. I wonder if we can get further down. Looks like there's another cool bank down there. If we can get to it. We'll actually find ourselves a little secluded spot that other people won't go to. Eventually. Something over there in the water. I saw it bang into that stick. The stick's moving.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, did I hear you say earlier that you need a license to stream here?
No. We don't need a license now. Don't need a license to stream anywhere, really, as long as it's in the public. What's called the public domain.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, I'm hearing things.
Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Shoo. Off up the river. Wow, this is a good spot. There may be another nice spot around there, but again, if I don't have to crawl through the undergrowth, maybe I won't. Because apart from losing you, possibly, otherwise, I also get ticks. Don't want that. Look at this grass that's here. Very tall, 7 foot tall easily. It's kind of almost like a kind of bamboo looking thing. What's this thing on it? I think it's just remnants of some floodwater or something. I was thinking it might have been a dragonfly. What do you call them when they cast? When they cast off their, you know, the bit of dragonfly that they don't need anymore. I don't think that is them. What that is. Dragonflies start out life underwater. Become very voracious predators, and they look a bit like the creature from Alien, the xenomorph. They have jaws that come out and grab. Anyway, after a year or maybe 2 years underwater, eating things, anything, everything, they emerge, climb up grasses like that, and then burst out of themselves, basically. And then at that stage, they tend to not have any mouth parts. No, that's lies. Actually, that's some flies and moths. Dragonflies do, because I've seen them eating flies, so they do eat when they're out and about as well. I think it's midges, like Daddy Longlegs is a midge. Pretty sure Daddy Longlegs doesn't have any mouth parts. Oh, look at that. Now there's a plant I've not seen for ages, and I can't remember what it is. That's always nice to see.
Slytherin Granny says, so good that it is still light over there. Here it's almost dark.
Oh, thank you. The crow feather leading me along the path. Magical crow feather signposts. Yeah, so I think this might be a garden escape, this one. One that's come out of somebody's posh estate, got into the river and come down. And you see it around and about. I'm pretty sure it's not a native plant. It's almost dark with you. Crazy. Well, I don't even think the sun's gone down beyond the horizon yet. It's gone beyond this horizon. But I'm pretty sure if you were on the hill there, you'd still be able to see the sun. But this may constitute the beginning of dusk for this area. Last night it was quite late before I saw any bats flying around. So we'll be lucky to see some early. What sort of bats do you think we might see here, guys? Anybody know? Anyone got any ideas?
Tricky Nicky 65 says, excellent spot.
It's in the right spot. I'd expect to see bats here.
Slytherin Granny says, no idea.
It's a swallow. Bats do roost in the trees, as well as buildings and all sorts of things. So, as they start waking up, they might just start social calling if they are in these trees. So bats, certainly the bats we have here, they do social calling, and then they have what we call echolocation. Sometimes you can hear bat social calls with your ears. They're audible. The echolocation is basically they're either, you've probably heard me say this before, but if you're new, you might not know that bats are either nasal emitters or oral emitters. So they, every time they pump their wings, they shout, and then either comes out their nose or out their mouth. And then, because they're doing that very, very rapidly, the sound bounces off everything around them and goes back to them, and they are able to build up a kind of image from that, which helps them to hunt and navigate around objects and stuff. So,
Tricky Nicky 65 says, yes, we sometimes hear them.
yeah. So, giving myself an earworm.
Wolo Hans says, be right back, gonna make a cuppa.
Trying to work out what this song is with Mississippi in it. A little bit peckish, surprisingly. I do have nuts in my bag, you'd think. I'm getting bitten on my hands. I'm going to be complaining in the next few days. This is while I'm working the next few days. You won't have to listen to me complaining. Wow, I'm surprised. Like last night, that the bats aren't out. It's 10 o'clock nearly.
Slytherin Granny says, LOL, 123 made me think of an old joke in a Mickey Mouse comic. It said, what do you get when you dial 666? Answer, an upside down policeman.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Slytherin Granny says, it was the British issue, of course.
Of course. So loads of birds up there. They're really high up now. Maybe that's swifts up there. Yeah. Well, we could go and have a wander around and see if there's any bats somewhere else. We can come back here. But it may wonders whether the bats are like camera shy. There's a guy standing there with a camera and a bat detector. Not going near him. What do you reckon, troops? Should we go for another circuit around the village? It's actually getting to the point where I'm like thinking about putting on another layer. It's 10 o'clock at night and I'm only just now thinking about possibly putting on another layer. Possibly. Just because I've been standing around, I think. Just along here. It does need a bit of a change of scene, really. We were waiting there for quite a while. That mountain over there. That one. In the distance there. That's Ben Lomond. The second highest mountain in Scotland. And I've spent a lot of time on that east side. See that long slope? I've spent a lot of time on that. Making paths. And also making it so people can't go off the paths and destroy. Used to be a massive kind of like motorway of a path all the way up the side of the hill, because people just didn't take proper care, and so there was a big conservation project to try to narrow that down, and we succeeded to narrow it down very, very well. So what you see if you go up there today, which is pretty much a single file path, and it's all been done with, well, mostly been done with volunteers. There's been probably some paid path teams as well. Certainly I was paid when I was up there. I was kind of supervising volunteers. That's not a bat. These aren't bats. These are still swallows. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, are you involved with many conservation projects?
I used to be very much, yeah. Not so much now in terms of actually doing stuff on the ground. I used to be very involved with that, leading volunteers to do habitat restoration and habitat management, forest, woodland management, basically with hand tools mostly, not with chainsaws, and yeah, things like path work, boardwalks and things like that on bogs, and also drainage, like basically restoring peat bogs by building peat dams and types of dams and all sorts of things, paths, a lot of path work. And quite a lot of surveying stuff as well. That's why I have things like bat detectors and know a lot about, well, not a lot, but maybe a little bit more than the average person know about plants and what's around us, habitat-wise. It all kind of comes from being involved in conservation. So I used to
Tricky Nicky 65 says, that's really cool.
When I left school, I was either going to go and make dance music, or I was going to do something to do with nature. And I decided that I loved dance music too much to make it my only money earner. I thought, I'm going to hate it if I do that. So I decided that nature was the way forwards for me. And so I trained with Scottish Wildlife Trust. First bat. Did you see that? Trained with Scottish Wildlife Trust and trained to be a ranger for 2 years with them. And then I went to university and did a degree called, they changed the name of it so I was part of the first cohort of countryside managers as a degree. So I did my honours degree in that, specialising in environmental education and interpretation, and yeah, also really, really enjoyed the kind of remote sensing element of it, surveying, ecological surveying. And so when I left university, I ended up kind of not working in conservation for quite a long time because it was very difficult to get a job. And then sort of started working in what's called informal environmental education. So through supporting organisations, so as a leader, as an educator, environmental educator. So then went on to work with organisations and make content and stuff for National Trust for Scotland, which I led working holidays for over a decade. RSPB, did a lot of like youth work with them, and ultimately made VR experiences for them about the Abernethy Forest. And Plant Life Scotland, I was their photographer for about 5 or 6 years until they had a big restructuring and basically everyone that I used to work with left. That's kind of the reason why I'm not really involved so much in things, because a lot of the people that were kind of in it when I was in it have left, or they're not in it anymore, they've retired. I was just speaking to one of the rangers at Loch Lomond, at Ben Lomond, just the other day. He called me up, he wanted to know a bit about live streaming and what technology to use for capturing his memoirs sort of thing as being a ranger there. And so yeah, I'm still kind of in touch with some of them, but he's like, I'm going to retire next year. So So yeah, what other conservation organisations have I worked for? Scottish Wildlife Trust, RSPB, Plant Life Scotland, National Trust for Scotland. Well, Scottish Forestry and the Forestry Commission, they have a kind of conservation wing. Survey work for a few companies as well. So yeah, I like nature conservation. I'm into it. I'm into wildlife, biodiversity, protecting and appreciating the other creatures that exist on this planet with us. And I know a lot of the efforts that are going on to do with land-based sort of solutions are things like planting lots of forests for capturing carbon, or re-establishing peat bogs for sequestering carbon. And that's a kind of different agenda from my nature conservation kind of passion. Although preserving habitats like that can be beneficial for biodiversity, I'm not sure if that's really what's behind some of the efforts going into that sort of thing. And I think people should be discerning about that. Anyway.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, we need people like you. Much of the human species are slaves to the corporate dollar, and we all know the impact that has on biodiversity.
Just realised I can go this way. Yeah, thank you. Biodiversity is so important. When you meet God, God's going to say to you, what did you do about the other creatures that live on the planet with you? Did you spend any time looking after them? What did you do about the poor starving children that were getting bombed? Did you do anything about that? All that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm not really a religious person, but I have this sort of feeling that it's important to live well so you can die happy. So anyway, my mission is about connecting people with nature and themselves through appreciating the beauty of nature. I hope that people realise that they're beautiful too, as part of nature. I saw a bat. I was thinking we could go and stand on this bridge, although it's a little bit dicey because I don't think there's any pavement. Thank you, Tricky, for seeing me. Look at that. Lomond. Amazing. Oh, look at that. That is a beautiful scene. A white horse. It's a unicorn, guys. It's a unicorn. What else was that? Something else is there with it. What's there as well? Something else walked past that was quite small. Did you see that? Can you see the unicorn? Unicorn's Scotland's national animal. It's on the money and stuff. Don't have many unicorns. I was quite lucky to see one. Get batting away all the flies with its tail. It's a really odd sound coming from underneath the bridge. Maybe it's not. It's a trampoline. It's a sound of a trampoline.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, I would laugh if the farmer actually stuck a unicorn on Horsey.
Wow. Look at that open space. Unreal. Let me know if the signal starts to go dodge. There's this big bit of cut grass over here. The path to it. I don't know what that is. It's like an airstrip. Maybe people practice golf there or something. Oh wow, it's warm. These leaning against this this wall. It's been heating up in the sun like it was the other one was last night. Nuts. Right. Any bats? See, there's a pedestrian side of this. Just realised. Oh, this is really nice. I'm just going to sit on this bridge for a second. That's brilliant.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, beautiful spot perfect for bats.
Should have brought my midge net out. It's like a train. I don't think they had a train here. It'll be an electric bus, that's what that noise is. It's not a train. Happy dude in his bucket hat gave us a thumb up. Hear that grasshopper warbler? I heard that last night. It's cool. Dude driving without his lights on. It's definitely dark enough to put your lights on, pal. It's after 10 at night. Funny. Maybe he was being incognito. Not putting his lights on so nobody could see him. It's well pleasant here. Electric vehicles really sound weird, don't they? Sometimes they sound like a chorus going, ah. Strange. I suppose they sound better than motors in some ways. I like the fact that right on the top of that hill there's some trees growing. I want to see more of that in Scotland. The only reason they're not there is because people have cut them down and put sheep up. And then they've let deer get so out of hand that, the trees struggle. Conservation is a very interesting subject when you get down to the nitty-gritty of we're trying to conserve nature generally, and we want to conserve these species, but these ones are getting popular. They're doing well and they're eating these ones. It's very difficult to manage nature. I don't know if it's even possible. Oh, I'm getting bitten. Well, I saw a bat. It was definitely a bat. It didn't look like a pipistrelle bat. It looked too chunky for being a pipistrelle bat. If they were just under the bridge here, under the trees or something, you might hear something. Oh man, midge just went in my mouth, straight down the throat, onto the tonsil. Very tickly. I think we're just too early, guys.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, over time have you seen a difference in behavior patterns of different animal species because of climate change?
It's a really difficult question to answer. I've seen populations of species change, very much so. I just literally saw a bat. There's a bat and I can see its reflection in the water. Hilarious! There's a bat here. I can see its reflection. It's right in front of us. That's hilarious that I saw a bat in the reflection in the water. What are you echolocating on? Oh. Really low.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, bat.
Yeah, you're seeing it. Well, I can see it in the water reflection. It's actually easier to see in the water reflection. It's down there in the water, but it's actually not there. It's up here somewhere. Yeah. It's been very quiet. Well, I can see it, but it's not echolocating. It is. I'll put it up full volume. It just needs to come a bit closer. You can hear me. That's me blowing. It's literally in front of me, and I'm getting absolutely bitten to hell now. Why no echolocation? Did you see it? There it is. It is echolocating. It's just really low. Wow. Very, very
Tricky Nicky 65 says, we saw it.
I'm just scanning here. There we go. That was a good one. Do you hear that pop? Here. It's right in front of us. Oh, do you hear that? That zzz? That's the targeting. Oh, it's quite high up. Up in the 50s.
Slytherin Granny says, yeah, we saw it.
Oh, there's two now. Yeah, echolocating up in the 50 kilohertz. So there's two types. There's this bigger one, this one here, and there's also a smaller one that we were looking at earlier. Yeah, see up there?
Tricky Nicky 65 says, they're coming to save you from the midges.
Come save me, guys. I'm operating like on a midge attractor. So we're at about 50 kilohertz range. If anybody wants to have a look up and see what bats echolocate around 50 hertz. Oh, the unicorn's looking at us. It's funny, I'm actually just to find the bats, I'm looking in the water for the reflection. It's actually easier.
Slytherin Granny says, Beautiful horse, indeed.
Oh, bats seem to have battered off. Yeah, this side. Yep. This looked like a good pool. Oh, there they are. There's like loads of bats here. 3 of them in one. Anyone find out what echolocates around 50 hertz? Is that Dobentons? They don't sound like Dobentons. They sound too chirpy from my experience of Dobentons. I think pipistrelles have got quite a wide range. That was up at 65 hertz, that. Sometimes coming straight for us. A little wind there. Like that. It's flying away. It's quite high as well. Oh yeah, it's happening now. I see 3 bats. Interesting what I was saying about the airspace. Like the swifts and the swallows have gone, and now the bats are out. You enjoying this, Tricky? I'm getting bitten for you. Great fun. Oh, it's quite a big one. I hope you guys are seeing these bats flying around as well. Oh, right in my face.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, bats must have a wide range they use. Human hearing range is 20 Hz to 20 kHz. Loving this.
You seeing them flying past? They're coming within about a foot maybe. Oh wow, I just watched it catch a moth. That was so cool. Did you guys see that? It flew up, grabbed it and then went away. No, apparently the way people identify bats is that by their call. Their echolocation frequency is kind of in the way that it looks.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, we're seeing them.
Good. I feel like I've got a bug crawling down my back. I probably do. Oh, didn't realise the light was on. Wonder if they've been coming up to the light. These bats were chasing each other.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, there's loads of them.
Yeah, they're coming out now. I think there's at least 5 of them here now. Not all the same species. Right. I'm going to turn that off for a minute. I need a little bit of not white noise. I need to have a little bit of something to eat. I suddenly realised that I was feeling a bit funny. Oh, hello. Didn't mean that happened. You are connected. Sounds like the local pub's having a bit of a shindig. Suppose it is the weekend. So I need to put some cashew nuts in my face. Give myself a little bit of energy. This is the sound of cashew nuts being crunched. If you can hear that. Oh. The grasshopper warbler. Right. Rucksack back on. Sugary things in the mouth. Bat detector around the wrist. Okay, let's get back on with it. Thank you for your patience. Ooh. Oh, wow. I don't know if you saw that, but there's something quite big in the water down there. Salmon. Imagine if a salmon jumped out of the water and grabbed a bat. That would be impressive. Wow. So many bats. You just look at the reflection in the water. There's just flying around all over the place. Difficult to find out what frequency they're on. I think, as I said, there's a few different species here. Some are getting down in the 20s there, which is more like your pipistrelles than the small ones.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, it would be impressive, but I've never heard of a bat eating salmon.
Wow, I can see about... There's literally bats in every direction right now. I think some of them are reflections. Amazing. Right, I'm getting eaten alive here, guys, so get your last wee look at that view. I need to go and... hopefully there's bats other places in the village. I need to move. I have been human bait for too long. I've only got a t-shirt on.
Slytherin Granny says, better to take shelter.
Yeah. Kind of quite fancy going past the pub to see what sort of shenanigans are actually happening. That was good. I enjoyed that. It was worth the wait. Oh, now it feels that, you know, that special kind of itchy that you get with midges. Oh, wow.
Tricky Nicky 65 says, thank you so much for getting eaten alive for us.
You're welcome, Tricky. It was kind of a last minute thing, actually, bringing the bat detector with me. I was like, shan't I? And then I remembered how much people enjoyed the bat detecting stream. And then you'd said it recently how much you enjoyed it, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to keep the bat detector with me at all times, basically. And so yeah, it's been amazing to be able to provide a little bit more bat action. Something a bit different, eh? Probably not many streamers of streaming bats.